Good afternoon. This is Thrive Story. So I'm just coming on here today and saying, boss, I got breast cancer. And just remembering, what did I do in that circumstance? And going back into that, this is kind of my story, and I'm just going to backtrack a bit and explain a little bit about myself. And so I finished business education while having two kids at and I did all of that. And I had worked hard to get into administrative work, and I was climbing up into the corporate area of that. And I had put some time in, and unfortunately, I worked in the oil and gas sector, and the economy in Canada crashed in that area. So 500 people were let go. And so I had overcome that, and then I was rehired by the same company in a different division, and then I was let go again. And so at that time, it was like very serious that I found work, and it didn't matter what kind of work. That it was even if it was minimum wage, that I would work and help be like with pulling in extra income. And so that's what I did. I worked in retail. I worked in grocery stores, and I worked in another big company. I won't state what, because I believe in confidentiality. But my story is I went to work, and I had found out that I had aggressive breast cancer, stage 3, and it was on the cusp of being stage 4. And so I continued to work for a couple months, and it just was getting harder, like physically, because my strength was very weak at that time, and still is, by the way. So I was getting very weak, and there was a particular task I was doing, and I struggled with that task. And I remember a customer service lady coming up to me, and I just had a chat with them. I'm like, this task is getting hard. Can you send somebody to just assist me just with this one quick thing? And it would help me a lot. And I explained I have like aggressive cancer, breast cancer, and I need that support to continue to work. And they're like, yeah, we'll work with you. You know, we love you. We'll support you. And then like, no word of a lie. 20 minutes later, still same task, had that trouble. And then this particular person just shouted across the room, like, what are you doing? You're not doing that right. What? Why? And they were just had a rude tone and a sharp tone, and were very aggressive. And other people that were in that lineup, because I was a head cashier, overheard that. And I remember one gentleman, what a sweetheart. He pulled me aside, and he said, "Are you okay?" And that's what I needed to hear. Are you okay? And I explained, yeah, I have, I'm experience aggressive cancer right now, and I just don't have the strength. And he's like, you need to go home, and you need to spend all the time you can with your family and your loved ones, because this is an important time, and no job is worth it, and no job should ever treat you like that. And so I remember continuing on with my shift, because I'm stubborn. Like, and if you knew me, you would know that. And so I continued on that day. And then all of a sudden, I remember, like, I had boss, and I'm not stating names because, this person may not have known that I had already stated that I had aggressive breast cancer. But anyway, they came in with a really dirty mop pail full of dirty water and said, you clean that. And so I went to the back room and I cleaned it, and I just sobbed. I'm not going to lie, I sobbed. And I just felt like that dirty water, like worthless, like I didn't matter. And so I went home from that shift, and I just decided, no, I'm not going to continue that. I'm not. So I explained to my husband, and this was the big lump in my stomach more than my boss. I just can't do it anymore. And I always imagined being that person that I would work up until I was 70, until my very last moment I croaked, just because, everything's so expensive. And I just love working, and I love being an asset to society and stuff. And so I really had lost my identity. But I found out that I'm a child of God and my worth is found in Him. And that was so powerful. But what I want to go back to is like just resilience on how I got through this period. Because nobody tells you this, but when you're in Canada, you wait an entire year to get CPP. That's disability benefits to help you when you cannot work due to no fault of your own. And so I constantly had to fight and fight and fight and fight for funding. And like most people that have been through it, some that don't have support in the family, they end up homeless. So this is a really serious issue. And so I remember just being really weak and going through cancer and chemo therapy. I took the most aggressive chemo on the planet because of my breast cancer. And so I was in a really weakened state, and I remember having to go to the Alberta Works office and ask for financial help so we wouldn't lose our power and our water and heat and all this stuff. And so they helped out with a bill or two, and that was massively helpful. And so I want to encourage anybody going through that, seek that help. And another area was even family member, like particularly my daughters, they put up a GoFundMe for me, and I didn't know, and so it was a shock. But family directly put in some money, like extended family, and like whatever they could. It wasn't like a big campaign. It was anyway. So then also to another family member put on the Facebook from my mom's side, put up an entry there. And she reached out to people I haven't talked to in years that are my family. Because I come from a massive family and I didn't really get to know them. And anyway, so I went through it as well as I should anyway. But some family members helped me personally. And that really helped. But what was really touching is when my daughter put up a Facebook ad or post or whatever and communicated our family struggle, and just complete strangers in the community helped out, and they just randomly brought like food, and it was just things like I couldn't even regularly afford. And so it just really brought me community outreach. So I encourage you to reach out to your community, get to know your community, because you belong still. And also to people in maybe in my generation, Xers, we were told, you don't work, you don't eat. So that was something was really formatted in my soul. And also to don't ask for help. And so I struggle with that. But just having people like in your support system that do love you enough to do that is such a God-sent blessing. So that's just a summary of that and how I handled that. So with the boss of that particular company, what I did is I phoned them and I talked to the HR consultant of that company, and I just explained in writing, also verbally, that I wouldn't be able to go to work anymore because of my diagnosis was serious, and that so that was all done in writing and also verbally. And so I encourage you to do that as well. Unfortunately with me, I didn't have any medical benefits, so that was a struggle as well. And I couldn't afford some medication to help assist with chemotherapy because it wasn't covered through Canada. And each one of those shots would cost me $1,600 out-of-pocket expenses. And I remember having the resilience, picking up that phone and calling every charity I could for hours. Can you help me? And what I did is I just went to the Cancer Institute and I asked, is there any charities that will help with this medication, offset this medical, cost? And they provided me a list of different donors. And I just got on the phone and I advocated and I got help. And we were able to get 70% reduced. We still had to pay out-of-pocket expenses. And like I stated with transportation, I did the same thing by getting help with the charity to drive me to and from, so that my husband didn't have to miss work. Again, there's so many things, but I just suggest advocating and going right to your cancer institute and asking for those donor numbers to help offset those costs. This is Thrive Story, and I hope everybody has a blessed day. And just thank God that He helped me through it, and that He taught me that I'm a child of God, and I dug deep into that faith, and that's what actually pulled me through, and is still pulling me through, with just finding out like my identity that it's not tapped into what I do for work. And so just keep thriving, and all the best, and have a great day, and keep watching. Thank you. Bye.